Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into what I think is absolutely one of the most fascinating tactical evolutions in modern international football. You probably remember Panama, right? They were those deeply emotional, happy debutants at the 2018 World Cup. Well, fast forward to 2026, and they've completely transformed from a feel-good story into a genuine tactical threat. Let's find out exactly how they pulled off this incredible evolution and why any real fan of tournament football needs to be paying close attention to them.
Okay, let's dive into this. To understand where Panama is heading, we've got to look at where they've been. Back in 2018, their assistant manager described qualifying for their very first World Cup as pure, unadulterated emotion. He literally said it was like something handed down by God. And honestly, we all remember Felipe Beloy smashing in their historic first ever World Cup goal, even though it was during a heavy defeat to England. The bench was in tears, grown men were crying and hugging on the sidelines. It was just a beautiful, beautiful story. But here's the thing, emotion? Well, it really only gets you so far. To actually compete in 2026, Panama has had to trade that sheer emotional high for some cold, calculated pragmatism. To map out their realistic path to the knockouts, we're going to follow a pretty clear structure today. We'll start with the rise of the Red Tide, then break down Christensen's tactical blueprint, look at the core stars of the squad, face the harsh reality of the Group L challenge, and finally, we'll wrap up with their 2026 World Cup outlook.
All right, part one, the Red Tide rises, moving from a baseball nation to a football fever.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because it's kind of incredible to think that historically, Panama, a nation of just 4 million people, has been a baseball country. For literally decades, they were just regional minnows in football. But their acceleration over the last 20 years, it's nothing short of remarkable. From their first game against Venezuela way back in 1938, to becoming Gold Cup runners-up in 2005, to that historic 2018 World Cup debut, and the contrast for 2026 is just staggering. They didn't just scrape by this time. They dominated with a totally undefeated qualifying campaign. They've evolved into a well-oiled machine.
Which brings us to part two, Christensen's tactical blueprint, the architect.
So the architect behind this machine is manager Thomas Christensen. He's this Danish-Spanish pragmatist who basically traded in the emotional locker room speeches for meticulous analytical preparation. He took his European possession-based education and cleverly adapted it to the really intense physical demands of CONCACAF football. So instead of just chaotic, high-intensity running that exhausts the players, he relies on a structured mid-block press. This means the team uses incredibly disciplined, compact lines right in the middle third of the pitch. It disrupts the opponent's rhythm, but crucially, it saves their energy so they can transition with blistering speed when they win the ball back.
And as you can see right here, Christensen actually flexes this tactical system depending on the threat. When they need to control the game and attack, they use a 4-2-3-1 formation. This relies on wide wingbacks like Amir Murillo to really stretch the defense. But when they're up against world-class opponents and need to absorb pressure, they seamlessly shift into a 3-4-3. This secondary setup is basically a highly defensive wall designed to stifle superior teams through collective shape and sheer physical intensity.
Moving on to part three, the squad's core stars, the spine of the team.
Now, a great blueprint obviously requires the right players to execute it. And while Panama might lack deep bench strength, their starting core is seriously battle-tested. This spine starts right in the midfield. You've got Aníbal Godoy, the 36-year-old captain, record holder with 157 caps, and the absolute defensive anchor of the team. Godoy marshals the press, while right next to him is 27-year-old Adalberto Carrasquilla, the 2023 Gold Cup MVP. He is the creative engine that unlocks the defense. These two are the absolute key. Up front, you've got Jose Fajardo providing the clutch goals. He was top scorer in qualifying. And out wide, Amir Murillo brings that elite European club experience from Besiktas.
But I really want you to consider a very real, very dangerous scenario for this team. Their entire attacking philosophy relies on this centralized creativity. So what happens if the engine breaks?
Well, the danger lies in a devastating groin injury suffered by Carrasquilla in the Liga MX final, just days before the 2026 squad announcement. While he did make the roster, his fitness is hanging over the team like a massive dark cloud. So the crucial point is, without Carrasquilla at 100%, Panama just doesn't have an equally creative replacement to progress the ball. It leaves their entire attacking buildup severely compromised.
That takes us to part four, the Group L challenge, the Crucible. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer mountain Panama has to climb. Just look at Group L. You've got England, ranked 4th in the world with 16 World Cup appearances and elite depth. Then Croatia, ranked 10th,
bringing world-class technical experience from 7 appearances. And then there's 33rd ranked Panama, alongside 72nd ranked Ghana. Those established European powerhouses are going to apply immense pressure right from the opening whistle. But hey, Panama is absolutely equipped for a fight. Think about their strengths: exceptional collective defensive organization, the tactical flexibility to switch between systems, a relentless physical intensity and work rate, and of course, the massive momentum of that unbeaten qualifying campaign. Their collective discipline literally makes them a nightmare to break down.
However, on the flip side, we have to look at the vulnerabilities. That battle-tested spine, it's aging. With Godoy at 36, Waterman at 34, and Quintero at 38, those aging legs are a serious liability in a dense, physically demanding tournament schedule. Combine that with their complete reliance on Carrasquilla's health, a known vulnerability to elite pace out in the wide areas, and pretty limited depth at the forward position, and well, the cracks definitely start to show.
Finally, Part 5, 2026 World Cup Outlook, the golden opportunity.
Despite how daunting Group L looks, Panama actually has a highly realistic path to advance. Let's break down the exact step-by-step path they need to take in the group stages. Step 1 is absolutely non-negotiable. They must secure 3 points in their most winnable opening match against 72nd ranked Ghana. Step 2 requires them to execute that perfect defensive mid-block to steal a gritty draw against 10th ranked Croatia. And Step 3 is all about survival. Get through a highly emotional rematch against 4th ranked England, keeping their goal difference intact.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the number 8. Why does that number matter so much? Well, because the 2026 World Cup is operating under a new, expanded 48-team format. And under these new rules, 8 third-place teams will actually advance to the round of 32.
This structural rule change is a total game changer. It completely reframes how we should view Panama's tournament. They do not need to pull off a miracle and finish second ahead of England or Croatia. They only need 3 to 4 points to survive as a third-place dark horse. If they can just beat Ghana and hold their ground in the other matches, making the knockout stages is a realistic goal that's entirely in their own hands.
And so it all really comes down to this. Will the disciplined Red Tide ride the momentum of their incredible second act to a historic knockout spot? Or will the aging legs of their golden generation finally give out against the world's absolute elite? It is going to be a breathtaking tactical battle to watch unfold in Group L. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep an eye on the Red Tide, and as always, keep learning.